103.1, 103.5, 104.1, and 104.7 FM. Listen and view on DBS Radio Facebook Live and on YouTube. Give us 90 minutes and we will strengthen the connection between Dominicans residing in the lovely Nature Isle and Dominicans residing abroad. National Broadcaster DBS continues its quest to highlight and celebrate the achievements of Dominicans. We will discuss the highs and lows, the challenges and successes. Give us 90 minutes and we will solidify the connections we share with Dominicans all over. Anu celebrate achievement Dominice to all latte. Connecting the dots. Tune in this Saturday, 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Come join us as we weave a tapestry and strengthen our connections. ASU Radio DBS. Welcome people, welcome, bonjour. Comment vous y bagay ka marche boy peu? C'est un lot plaisir pour inviter ou à sou mission là DBS Radio. Welcome Connecting the Dots family, another Saturday. There is another program, September 9. The hurricane season is on, reminding us, of course, that it is on and that September is normally busy. So let's see if Nigel is following what Lee is doing. Nigel, good morning. Comment vous y bonjour.
Bonjour. Comment vous y?
Mwakachebe for. A lot samedi.
A lot samedi, oui. Et puis nous allons jouer encore pour faire ça.
Yeah, man, Nigel, nice vibes again, this morning. It's really a pleasure to welcome listeners. In DA now, Nigel, I can feel that hot sun and it's really nice. It's a vibes. It's a vibes.
What Dominica sun different than the other sun?
Man, well, yeah, I think I can more take Dominica sun.
Everything about the Commonwealth is different,
It's different. We are unique. I mean, obviously, we are unique.
The breeze is different. The sun is different.
Even when you look at the sky, it's kind of different.
It's a different vibe.
That's the Commonwealth. So, Nigel, what is Lee saying? Have you been following?
Well, Lee hasn't, reached my area. I've been following, I'll tell you something about here in Florida. Is that once you hear hurricane, right, it's like everybody begins to go crazy. I guess it's everywhere else, So all the gas lines start to fill up and can't find no water in the supermarket. And, the usual thing that's happening. So people start panic buying again.
Mm-hmm.
So that's happening. But, the weather is good for now. No big issues here with that. Mm-hmm. But if what I'm hearing about Lee, if Lee continues to do what Lee wants to do, then, Lee might just touch around.
Man, Nigel, the narrative states that the climatological peak of activity is September 10 around that time.
Mm-hmm.
Today's the 9th. And so I was reading up last night, and what I realized is that Lee has hit a rare strength that few storms have ever achieved. Although I think Lee has gone down, but I still believe Maria was higher. They stop on 5, normally category 5, but I think they have to rethink this.
Yes.
But we're talking Lee now. But yeah,
both Maria and David, they have to rethink.
Yes.
We're talking Lee. So yes, so Lee is strange because Lee has started in the place he don't normally start. Lee came right after we had that little break from the Saharan desert and all the Saharan dust and stuff that was happening. So sort of prevented, all those hurricanes, that warm, that air coming through, that heat that formed the kind of defense. And Lee decided, okay, well, I'm going to be the first one and break through and come your way.
Do you know Lee, Nigel?
I know Lee.
I know Marcellus Lee. Is Tilling?
Yeah, Marcellus Lee, Tilling. Yes.
Tilling, yes.
Yes, Tilling. Good morning to you, Tilling. That's the only Lee I know. Let me see. Is there another
Yes.
Well, I mean, there was Bruce Lee.
Well, yeah, of course, there was Bruce Lee.
But in terms of a Lee, I think that's the only Lee that I know. And
it's a short form of a longer name.
Yes, Lee is his last name, I think. Or wasn't it his name before, really? I think so. But I don't know a Lee, though, starting with a Lee.
Lee, Lee. I know Nigel, and so we're an L now, just no N is coming. So let's hope that Nigel, takes a back seat.
Well, Nigels are relatively nice people, so you know what I mean. I don't think Nigel will cause any damage or anything like that.
Okay.
It might pay a visit, but it wouldn't cause any damage.
Okay. Well, all right. So let's see. But yeah, so we're in September, the peak of the hurricane season. But September, Nigel, is also, I think, Prostate's Cancer Month, Cancer Awareness Month. It's a month of the elderly. World Alzheimer's Disease Month, something like that,
Yes.
The start of fall, Nigel, is also
there's lots of stuff happening in the month of September.
Yes.
It is.
Start of the new school year as well, Nigel. And as I mentioned,
how was that? How was the first week?
Yes. I came on what, Wednesday night. So my daughter went to school on Thursday morning, her first day at school for the new school year. So she was supposed to come at 12 noon, and then she came back very early, like less than half an hour. And I was like, what is happening? And Nigel, guess what? Her teacher died. In his sleep.
Man,
in his sleep,
Angol, right?
Yes, and we have to extend our deepest condolences to the mother and family of the late Kevin Angol, Nigel, to the principal and staff as well, and all the students in the Convent High School. Because it can be traumatic to go to school on the first day. And your teacher died that morning. He died in his sleep.
That can be very traumatic indeed. And I certainly hope that, the students, and you have to go back to that same classroom and that same environment that he was in.
Yes, Nigel.
The last time you saw him, he was smiling, saying goodbye to you and see you next year.
And then, and that's it. Yeah, really sad. He was the son of the late Derek Stumpy Angol, Nigel. Of course, you know Derek.
Yes, of course.
The Appendix Association and a founding member of the Humanist Club of Roseau. He was also the son of Josephine Lewis, the academic advisor at the Dominican State College. So we really extend his condolences.
We do. On behalf of the CTD family. We certainly do that. And we, ask you to hold strong. And we know that,
Nigel.
The faculty of Dominican State College and the rest of the students and the Convent High School certainly it's a tough one on them.
Oh yes, Nigel.
So I mean, be with you really through that time.
28 years, Nigel, and to understand the brevity of life is also to become aware that life is fragile and fleeting.
It is. It's not the snap of the finger, you're here now and not here tomorrow. So, it's always good to make the most of it and to, celebrate when you can and celebrate with the people around you and those who care and love for you and, show some love to others.
Definitely.
You never know when.
You never know when.
Never know when.
We could tie in that conversation with our focus, today on senior citizens. So I'm sure when we bring on our guests in a short while, they can, shed some light on that. Some people die young, some people die old, and Nigel, I'm ready to end this conversation. You see that?
I want to move on to something.
But how comes you come up with that? There's a hurricane death.
Well,
Nigel, we're for some of laugh. You know what I mean?
Well, it's good. No, the time. We have to do both. What? We have to spread the news that way. Man. We have to have the somber moments, the sad moments.
Yeah, that's true.
And then we get back into our spirit again and celebrate. you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the good thing about it.
Yeah,
yes.
but
how was it, by the way? I mean, after vacation, you came back with what, 2, 3, 4 grips?
Yeah. Nigel, not even ask me about that.
Suitcase wasn't full overweight.
Boy, Nigel, not to ask me about that. No, the good thing is I brought my trade with me, so we were all together. So everybody could hold a suitcase. But Nigel, I'm not talking about that. Me, nah, man. You like never see come see. Just something for me and lose.
Okay, that one never see come see. You know, yes, they have you looking all beautiful in your green and your nice necklace and everything, and you do all your shopping.
Yes, me papa for 2 years. Me, well, let's like that at time. No boy, stock up as much as you can.
Stock up as much as you can.
Oh yes, Nigel. By the way, what is up with Morocco?
Morocco.
And that earthquake.
Oh, the earthquake. Oh yes.
I think over 1,000 people died.
Yes, yeah, you go back in that again.
Why? That's a premonition of doom, you know.
I know.
I
know.
Oh boy.
I know. That's nice. These are the days. Yes, but yes, I mean another one again, you know, couple thousands there and man, I think it's just a reminder for those who don't believe in climate change, or who still have doubts about climate change, or who still might be wondering what's going on. All these are examples for you to know that it is real.
Yep, it is.
And there's something about it, you know. Unfortunately, you know, as we keep saying, you know, the small islands, developing states suffer the most out of it, but it's all over.
Yeah,
so
it's all over.
We definitely have to do something about it, you know. Yeah. So yes, we have to do that. You know. By the way, I didn't say congratulations to our guy Fred last week, you know, who again became celebrated.
Oh yeah, I did not follow.
Gymnast, yes.
Okay.
Yes, he took part in the athletics gymnastics competition, and of course won again. So congratulations to him for being number 1 on that.
Yes, congrats.
Yes, congrats on that. Do you follow tennis, by the way? Do you follow tennis?
Me?
The US Open?
I mean, not religiously. It's not something I would go look for, but if it's on and it looks interesting, I would.
Congratulations to Coco Gauff, who's heading into the finals tomorrow. You know, the first team to have accomplished that since Serena Williams did it back 18 years ago. So congratulations to Coco Gauff.
I can remember I used to follow tennis. Yeah, I used to follow tennis. I used to follow basketball, Nigel, a lot. You know. You know, NBA,
I follow it a lot still. Yes,
I used to follow it. In fact, my very first team was Celtics, Boston Celtics.
I never really.
I just love Boston. That was when I was going to school.
Yes, way back then I used to
Larry Bird, you know, and all of them.
I used to support the Pistons and then Lakers, and now, you know, I'm a Warriors fan, and you know, of course the Heat.
I never liked the Lakers, and I didn't like the Lakers only because at that time in school, like everybody was Lakers, so I had someone had to oppose for some reason. Someone had to oppose. So yeah, I had to be the, you know.
You had to be the one to oppose. Right. Yeah. I agree with you. You. Yes.
So Nigel, we have guests.
We do. And
we're going to bring them on, Nigel.
That's a good idea. Idea.
By the way, quickly, as we bring them on, what is the book saying? Anybody's on now?
Yeah. Well, I mean, of course. I mean, we always have to make sure. You know, let me see. Alvin says he's tuned in. He says something about you, you know. You say you look stunningly beautiful in your attire this morning.
What? Let's go up, man, for Mother's Day.
Yes, but he didn't say anything about me. All he says is hi, bro, Nigel. He doesn't say nothing about you look whatever. But that's okay. You know? Let's see Nigel come down or something. Jules, good morning to you. Ocean of Thoughts, of course. Winnie, good morning, panel. Deepest condolences to the family. Mary Jo is watching it first. Hey, see who come back on our thing. She disappeared, and today of all days, because somebody is a guest, she's saying hello. Good morning to you, Terrian.
Hey, okay, so I got a message this morning.
We know why she's on this time. We're just kidding.
She's very busy, you know.
She's very busy. Very busy.
And she catches up, you know, after.
Yes, she does. You know, Edwina London, good morning to you as well. Viewing from Houston, Texas. So yes, the book is getting busy. And good morning to all those who are locked on. Of course, Stanley, good morning to you out there in Georgia. And all those others who are always locked on. Liz, good morning to you as always. connecting. Ling, good morning. And all the, hey, Paben, I haven't said good morning to you. Good morning to you, Paben and Marlon. I think they're probably locked in at a restaurant somewhere having breakfast and getting ready for Miami Carnival.
Yes,
that's coming up. Ace and Company is going to be there. By the way, anybody who wants to sponsor, check us here. So yeah, we're here. Yes, it's going to be a nice morning.
Yeah, it should be. And let's just say good morning to last week's guest, Glory Thomas.
Yes.
So she had to travel the day after. Remember, she had to travel on Sunday to seek for the treatment.
That is true. Receive the treatment.
So we wish her well on that journey.
We sure do. You know?
Okay, so Nigel, we're going to bring on our guest now.
Yes, we are going to bring on our guest. I can see one, but I can't see the other. But hopefully, I'll see the other.
You can see one. Oh yes, I can. Okay.
I can see
one. Jenny, all of a sudden.
Well, Jenny,
yes.
I
didn't want to see black food in this house. I seen that I can hold it and eat it. But I put off my camera.
Where got some? Bell from Killer.
I don't know this Jenny.
Jenny, just talking Jenny. Jenny.
Like.
Genius. What are them?
Genius is like young.
Genius is
young. Like uncomfortable.
Jenny, you feeling yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Help us out.
What is Tudusma, Nigel? Tudusma. Yes, I would like that. So somebody help us.
Yes.
Come on,
Noreen and Delia Coffee and the rest, help us out here. Tudusma and Jenny. What is that?
Yes. And what is lavabo as well? You know, lavabo. So
lavabo is only doing what they want with you.
Yes.
Lavabo. Yes, I think that's what lavabo is.
I was about to ask you, Kunu, what is Kunu Munu? In Nigeria, let us leave that alone. Can I bring on this? Let's go.
Aye. Yes. Let's leave Kunu Munu alone.
Yeah. Boy, my children, maybe they'll be saying, man, we're crazy, boy. It's one thing to be doing your program at your home with your children, rocking everybody around, you know? Like when you're in the studio in your own, what you say, your voice on your radio.
When you see you at home now, you see you like, they'll see my body. That's my.
And you sit down, you're checking my mother, sit down, relax, talking nonsense like that, man. Come on. Anyway, who does that? Okay, Nigel. So we have had Ophelia Marie.
Yes.
Oh boy, I can say so many things about that lady. It's my girl. That's my girl. You know, so we have had as a guest already. So we know her story. Nigel Lawrence is making his debut on Connecting the Dots, and we are happy for that.
I'm not seeing him.
You're not seeing him. And Nigel Lawrence, you had to put on your cam. Okay, all right, yes.
Yeah. No.
So Nigel Francis will decide how we go today. As I said, we had Ophelia who gave us a story already. So you run the show, Nigel.
I run the show. Okay,
yeah,
I would like to run the show. That's good. You know. So a pleasant good morning again to you, my dearest Ophelia, and of course Nigel, my namesake. Good morning to you as well. It's a pleasure to have both of you on for Connecting the Dots. Yep. Now Nigel is making his debut, so he's going to give us his journey. But Ophelia already made her tell us about her journey. But I mean, I cannot still not say welcome and good morning to you, my dear. Good morning, Ophelia. How are you doing?
Good morning. I am fine. I have been listening since 9:30, and God haven't changed at all. To people. It's nice. But this time where I'm not just representing me, I am the immediate past president of the Dominican Council on Aging, and our theme for this month is "We are older, not over." I want to say that, and I also want to say we are looking for money.
All right.
All right. I like how she said. I like how she cleared the air very clearly.
Ophelia looks lovely, Nigel. I have to say that. Really
very lovely as always.
Man,
yes.
Let me give you a secret, Nigel. Normally, when I call Ophelia, especially if I'm at home, you know, and I would say Ophelia, and so my children would hear that they have an obsession. The Ophelia is concerned. All of them, all four of them, Nigel. So they'd be jumping and everything and shouting Ophelia, and sometimes Ophelia would hear it. Even my dog would be barking. There's something about Ophelia and my family. That's my girl, as I said.
Beautiful. But I like how she started. She started by clearing the air very well.
Yes,
not here as Ophelia. I'm here as the immediate past president.
Yes.
So don't ask me nothing about Ophelia and my music and what's my latest
but
project.
You can ask me about that, but
and my latest project and all my thing into reggae, and don't ask me nothing about that. Just
nothing
talk about no, but what's Ophelia, we can ask Ophelia anything. That's a beautiful thing about it. You know? Nigel, good morning to you, and welcome to Connecting the Dots. If you've not been listening, we have a kind of a program where we kind of go off script here and there, but we always try to come back and make sure we connect the dots. So welcome to Connecting the Dots. How are you doing?
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
Or maybe I should say,
you're not hearing him.
It's a gift for Nigel already.
To you, Nigel, for namesake.
All right.
I'm the new kid on the block, so that's okay.
All right. Okay. So, you can hear us now.
I can hear you clearly.
Okay, all right, nice.
We can hear you now. We can hear you
nice,
now.
Nice.
So of course we will find out about Nigel's journey and how he's made Dominica his home. You know, decided that he no longer wants to be in St. Lucia. This is a crazy morning, but it is. Nigel, we normally begin with, you know, when we have our guests on, we like to find out a little bit about them before we delve into, you know, what they're actually doing and why we have them on in terms of the actual topic. So tell us a little bit about Nigel Lawrence in terms of what part of Dominica you're from. What part of the Caribbean are you from? And just a little general, you know, info on Nigel. Who is Nigel Lawrence?
Well, Nigel Lawrence is currently the president of the Dominica Council on Aging. As Ophelia said, I succeeded her. I am a St. Lucian by birth, but right now I can consider myself a Domilucian.
I love that.
Okay, all right, c'est bon.
Okay, I came here almost 40 years ago on a 3 months assignment as a consultant to help Dominica, and then you know the thing. What happens after that? You fall in love, and love follows you, and you follow love, and you got stuck in love. So I am here, and I'm retired, enjoying life, and working towards uplifting and upgrading the status of persons in my capacity. And my capacity is that I'm that of an older person. So when you're an older person and you're retired, you need to be taken care of. And I think it's an obligation I have to try to promote that sector of society.
All right. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on Nigel. I know you long ago. I didn't realize that it's a Lucian. So I'm learning this. Good to know. Good to know. You see these commonalities, St. Lucia and Dominica, you just fit in well. Nigel, are you in me?
Yeah, yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay,
both Nigels are hearing you. Both Nigels.
What Nigel? Nigel, why is that?
Yes, today's our day. Today's our day.
Yeah,
right? Open. Today's our day. The thing is you and Ophelia alone to have holiday. Today's our day.
Okay, Papa.
But yes, I mean, Nigel, of course, the connection goes way back. I mean, you know, you were in the Ministry of Fisheries, and, you know, I knew you back then, working in fisheries and everything else. What has the journey been like for you in Dominica?
It's been an interesting one in that I came here, as I said, on a short stint. I saw there's lots of potential, there's lots of work. I made some good acquaintances. I got involved with a lot of people who led me by the hands, and I contributed to what I came here to do, and that was to modernize, uplift the fisheries sector in Dominica. I did a lot of that on my own. I did what I could do. I had various assignments to do. I'm not the one who likes to boast of myself or my deeds. It's left for other people to say, but I initiated a series of programs and projects which today they are given, and I'm going to keep quiet on that. But along the way, I've met some very nice people, including a lady who has me in this place up to now, my wife, And then we have one son, and we're enjoying life for the time being.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, for both of you, by the way, I want to call Kofi say good morning, yeah? He have about 3 detentions because he hasn't been on for a while. So
me, Papa, I don't even comment in that.
Yes. But for both you and Ophelia, Nigel, as we get into talking about the month and more so, the older persons and senior people and so on, do you think that your involvement now is something that probably started way back when you were younger in terms of, I'm trying to find out in terms of the community, right? Taking care of its elderly. In St. Lucia, did you see that happen? Did you see back then when you were growing up that you had, people had a certain level of respect for the older ones?
Well, I grew up with a lot of older persons. Let me give you a strange thing. I grew up loving older persons, and I grew up working with older persons. The story here is this: every morning I had to visit every older person. There were about 6 of them in my neighborhood, and I had to go by each of them, and each of them would give me either a palm kernel, a ripe banana, a zaboka, or something. So I made that wrong every morning, and I grew up loving people. And I grew up loving people to the extent I remembered my first job. My salary was $29.90. And when I received my salary, I made sure my mother gave every one of these people 5 cents every month, which was a lot of money in those days.
Wow.
Right? So I grew up loving older person amongst older person. And I am a bit fortunate today that I still have my mother who's clocking 98, not out. So this is my thing. And I was brought up in a community where there was always no fences, where you always interacted with everyone, and you interacted with everyone, your neighbor, your grandmother, your grandparents, your auntie, your nene, and everything like this. So I grew up in a community where age didn't matter, but where age mattered, respect was the key thing.
And Ophelia, what about you in terms of what you saw in the community? Was that love, that respect, that wanting to help the older persons back then?
Yes, and well, I was fortunate to have 2 sets of parents in the sense that my mother and father had 5 of us. I was the eldest, and they lived with my mother's parents. So I had mother, father, grandmother, grandfather in the same house. And I saw how my parents regarded and respected and listened to the older person. So I had to follow up, and when you're the eldest, they bring you up and you have to bring up the rest. So I had to show the same example for the 4 others who followed me. So that was something that was ingrained. They used to give me, they used to buy lots of gifts, and they used to let me choose mine first because I was the eldest. So I recognize that since that's seniority kind of early, and I recognize that you have to pay attention to those persons who are older. My little ones have to pay attention to me, so I learned that early. And then when I was 9, they brought me to Dominica because I was born in Curacao, as I keep saying, and Charles Maynard had told me I am forgiven for that. So, and I came to Dominica, and at age 9, I was secretary to a family presidium. Now that is a big name. That means a group of legionaries. And I was in that hierarchy. My mother was president, and I had to defer to her again. And we used to do things in the community, go and visit the older persons, sweep their yard, or take water for them, and things like that. So, we recognize that as one of our responsibilities very early. And from age 9, I've been in the community working, not as a guide, but a brownie. And then I was in the council, or no, not the council, that is much older, but the Youth Literary Club, which was a club for school persons in Point Michel. And we used to have dances from 6 to 10, and games days, games afternoons, and things like that, to raise funds to assist the older persons. So they were always within our purview, and there were always people to whom and for whom we had to do things.
Nice, nice. And I'm wondering if it's, I mean, like, without even knowing, maybe from them the foundation was being set for what would happen later on for both of you to be involved in that particular organization. Nigel in St. Lucia, do you, when you were back, and I know I'll come to Dominica because you've been in Dominica for the past 40 years, so you're more Dominican, but I still wanted to have a little bit of the St. Lucian vibes in terms of not necessarily comparing, but trying to show how connected we are as Caribbean people. In St. Lucia growing up then, did you find a situation where you had any of the older persons could have disciplined you or corrected you if you were doing something wrong?
Of course. Let me tell you, remember that when you heard to talk about it takes a village to raise a child, that is only a thing of now. Before that was normal. Okay. You didn't have to say that. When in St. Lucia, you could not pass an older person and do not say good morning or hello. You couldn't walk across the neighbor's yard and do not say hello. And these were the type of things you were exposed to growing up. So yes, it is that idea of community had always been a part of all of us, and so it is what it is. But you could not live in isolation. You never lived without interacting with your neighbor, and anybody you met on the streets. You had to respect them if they were older than you. You had to say good morning, and if you didn't say good morning, you got a holy. And if you don't, if your mother don't give you a holy when you come back, you get a holy from the person who saw you. You didn't say hello or good morning to the older person. So
I like this. I like what Nigel is saying, because I grew up in that time when older people were revered. This admiration for older people was just something else. You had to respect them. No matter what, you had to respect them. If you would see probably a confrontation between two and older people the day before or the same day, you still have to respect them, and I just love this. I am very happy, Nigel. I can see that from the onset that we choose this topic, not because it's month of the elderly, but because we have to recognize, these gems that we have.
We sure do. We definitely have to do that. And just quickly, let me say, hey, Val, very moral, good morning to you. Wants to say good morning to Nigel Lawrence. And then Catherine wanted to make sure we say good morning to Ophelia because she's a very good friend. The Catherine, yes, Catherine Janice Leighton Ammer. All the way in Canada, Sacramento, California. Ophelia is a very good friend, and she wanted to make sure.
Used to work at DBS
good morning.
Long ago.
So we have to make sure we say that, to say good morning to her for that. And of course, Alvin says Nigel Lawrence is a good citizen who did so much for fisheries. Both he and Vos saying that, the attributes of Nigel for that. So I mean, and Ophelia, I guess the same would be for us in Dominica, where any older person could discipline a younger person.
Correct.
Or child.
Yes. And and if your mother or your auntie had any confusion with somebody else, as Nigel Lawrence was insinuating, that is just not your business.
Yes, pas affaire.
Yeah, you could not say
in your lane
or and pass that person straight. You would be in real trouble. I remember getting blows at school once, and I didn't even know how to go and tell my parents. Because teacher had right to slap you, But there was a time when I had to tell my daddy because the teacher was wrong. which happens, but Daddy was so respectful to him. Explain to him, no, you have to check the answer for your son before you hit my child, thinking she made a mistake. And the following day, he saw me and he said, so you told your dad that I slapped you? And I bobbed my head, but I said, yes, sir. That was the respect and reverence you had for people older than you. I remember too, by the way, when they were quarreling and a child was there, you know what they would say? They used to respect children. So children recognized that they had to respect an older person. It was without anybody telling us that.
Yeah.
For those who say that back then we didn't have all the distractions and all what we have now, and maybe that's why all you used to respect those older people before, because whatever. Is that something you kind of agree with? That it's probably because we didn't have all that distraction. It was it was a community. You go to school, you go back home. Do you think that was the reason why we had that kind of respect for older persons?
So why is it people have? Why is it that some have? Why is it that some have? It's because they learned it. There are some people. There are certain clothes I could never wear. No, because I respected and I still respect what my mother and father taught me. So somebody is not teaching, perhaps. I don't know. And with this social media that we have, we don't even say good morning. We don't say good morning. We just stop the conversation.
Yes.
I see you last night. What is that you were wearing? Who you were with now? And we don't say, hi, I don't know, how are you? You looking nice, and Nigel, you cool. We forget that part. So I don't know if that's a distraction, maybe, but it's also something that we can use to show the respect that we ought to have one for another. And beginning, of course, with ourselves. So distraction. Hey, distraction from what? You have to be attracted to you first. And do the positive for me from there. That's how I see it. There are things I could have learned. I could have been allowed on the road, because we had people who used to take out Maple in Pont Michel and clap their hands and cowie. How is that I didn't learn that? Because somebody told me that particular distraction there is not for you. And I listened, because it's two-way. You hear the story, you get the message, but you have to take it and apply it to your life. That's what I
think. Wow, very, very interesting. So the association, the Dominican Council on Aging, the organization, you want to look at that. So it was formed on what premise? What really necessitated the move? I know you would have come in after Ophelia, because it was on before you became president, but you have done your research.
Nigel was a member long before me. So
long before you. So Nigel probably can answer that. Upon what premise was this, built?
Well, the council was formed during just around the time when we were looking for national identity. There was this whole movement towards trying to identify yourself and trying to take care of your own people. It was just after the whole movement, after like all islands are turning independence, you began starting to look at the need to do things for your own people and to do things that were focused on your own people. So that was one of the reasons for that. They recognized that there were a group of persons who were getting older, who were probably leaving the service, who probably still have a second life to live. And there were those who would have fallen through the cracks. So it was felt that there was need to put into some grouping of people to look after these persons. And at the same time, it was felt that the group that would have been formed would be advocating on behalf of the less fortunate members of society. So that was the whole idea, to advocate for the well-being and welfare of the less fortunate, for those who had grown old and for those who were looking for a sense of identity in this new post-colonial era. So that is what that was there. And when we wanted to make sure that the new governance that was coming into place would cater for its people and not for oneself.
Okay. But were you recognizing, when I say you, I mean the group, the larger body, were you recognizing at that time that things were changing? Because we started by saying how much, people were revered, they were respected, they were admired, the elderly. But we have changed somewhat. But at that time, the association was formed. What was happening? What was changing?
What was changing at that time was the people being left to fall into the cracks, because after independence, people began having a greater sense of independence, a greater sense of themselves alone, and a greater sense of their own family alone, as opposed to the general family. So there was the sense that there would be some people who would be left behind. There would be a sense that some people who would have special needs. So these were the things that prompted the whole idea to say, look, we are there today, we have that status, but something happen and it can change our status. Not all of us are good planners, not all of us are good financial managers, and things can change. So therefore, there was a need to be able to let the authorities know that one size does not fit all, that there is need to take care of the persons, especially persons who have worked. And one of the things that happened was that around that time, you had the case of a lot of people who worked in the public service. And after they worked in the public service for so long, and they retired, what did they have to do? They had something. There was a need for them to do certain things to be able to let them get themselves back into the swing of things. So that is why the council was formed. And then the other aspect of it is that we wanted to show people, not because you are retired, you are over. And that is the theme. It's coincidental. That's our theme of our celebration for this year. We are older, but not over. And that was the whole idea from the beginning, that not because you have left the public service, not because you have gone and retired, that you should not have a role to play in society. And we also wanted people to continue to do just what we were talking about earlier on, to respect the elder. Because if you have worked, it means you have produced. And if you have produced, not because you become X age, automatically everything you do just ceases to exist. So that was what it is. It was to be able to create a reverence, to be able to create this body, this.
I'm losing Nigel.
Yeah, you seem to have lost your audio, Nigel. We can see you, but we're not hearing you. So
once he fix it, let's
all right, back on. Is that?
I think Nigel probably is at a location where something is happening as part of
the
Dominican Council on Aging.
Okay,
there's something up today.
Yes.
He's back again.
Yeah,
but there are so many things we want to discuss, and I really enjoy what Nigel was saying. But I want to look at some of the challenges facing the elderly. I mean, poverty. We can speak of abuse, mistreatments, ageism, and other barriers that they face. Nigel, I'm not sure if you want to go on this now or you want to say something even before that. Nigel Francis. Well, you see that.
You see now you have to stay which Nigel.
So I was asking that question to Nigel Lawrence of Ophelia, but I'm not sure if you wanted to bring in something even before we get to that point.
No, we can head into that part. I mean, I was just in terms of what Nigel was saying and that particular sector of individuals or that section of our population, where people feel that once you've reached an age, you've made your contribution by. And sometimes you even hear it, where people say, "Oh, you live your life already. You do what you got to do. Now it's our time. Now you pass your time pass." So that sentiment is there. So just before we get to Nigel answering that part of it, Ophelia, how do you feel about that?
About what when they tell me that one. Yes. Well, I am not here, so I tell them, well, I don't want to be young now. I say that because I am enjoying my seniority. To me, it's a phase, a new phase that not everybody gets an opportunity to enjoy.
Yep.
And and well, me and my sickness and my challenges that I have been fortunate, blessed, rescued, and given maybe not a second chance, but a third and a fourth. So I am very grateful to be alive, and I am not afraid, although I can be diplomatic sometimes, but I'm not afraid to express my opinion. I am not happy about some things that are happening among our younger persons. And I really wish that they would consider the older persons who have been the foundation for the life that they are enjoying now. I really wish that they would stop and consider the contributions that those people have made and show them a certain level of recognition. And if it's just the respect, I'm saying it like that deliberately. If it's just the respect, give it to us. We deserve it. We have worked for you. The monies you are getting, we didn't get that. Nigel said he got what?
$29.
You know how much I got, and I think I'm not talking age, but I got $230. And we used to save on that. My parents taught me over there, you have to put that on this side because you have to go to school. So you have to put some on this side, even if I contributed, like if I would see them selling ground provisions of farine or meat, or fish, I would buy and bring home. So I would make a certain contribution that way. But I was ready to listen to her and the values of saving, of working hard, and what have you. And I showed her the respect. So, I'm sorry that I'm saying but I find it is from that person that I got the examples that I can share with other people.
Wow. I love what Ophelia just said, Nigel. When you talk about the $29 and the 130, I think it just brought back to mind that the credit union movement was built by older people.
Yes.
They started the subs and the susu and bringing their little pennies to save and all of that.
Yes.
And a lot of us are enjoying this nowadays now, but we don't realize who laid the foundation, who created this thing for us to enjoy now. The older people. The older people. The natural medicines and all of that, and we can talk about Nigel, the Sene and salt and the borax and what they did before. Nigel, we can have a whole conversation on that.
Just on that. That is true. And I guess so I'm gonna say in terms of flipping the coin a little, right? Is it also that the older persons may be of the opinion that they deserve this because of their age and because of what they've contributed?
But actually good at works. It really is.
And that could be the question, but don't they? Don't they deserve it? I mean, look at how much, I was going to say especially, but those older persons sacrificed. They deprived themselves to give a better life to younger persons, to their children and the children of people around them. They educated every time that they could. And I'm not talking about with a degree or how many letters behind their names. They were there for all the children in their community. And they sacrifice. When you see they cook a bomb of pilau, everybody will buy.
And they would eat less.
Yes, and got meat with it too, with the rice too. So, and that is how they used to do. Now we don't do it like that, or we have leftovers, like we say, but we have to recognize what those people gave.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said.
Like this.
Nigel, anything to add to that before we move on to the next section?
Yes, and it's ironic that it's just very nice to hear the same things we write in speeches as other things we talk about now. Now, older persons deserve their respect, because as you all began earlier on, when two older persons were having a quarrel, they should tell somebody, the younger kids, to out of the room, or Wespe Fijayo, or something of that sort. So we, the older persons, gave a lot to the younger persons. And so in return, it has to cut both ways. And in return, the older persons have to give to the younger persons have to give to the older persons. But just imagine what you all said. All the things you all said earlier on is just that, we're just saying them indirectly. But yes, if we look at, and the other things we have to look at, let us look at the civilizations, the other tribes, the other groups of persons in other parts of the world. You go to Japan. If I am your age range, I bow. But if you are twice my age, I bow way down to the bottom of my toe. You understand? So this is what you bow based on the age. The depth of your bowing is based on your age difference, and it's respect. Now also the older persons. Let's take a look around and look at many of us whose parents never went to secondary school. Maybe just went enough to primary school. But you know what they did? They sacrificed everything. They stayed without lunch sometimes to make sure we had lunch to go to school. Remember, some of us never got scholarships, but we still made it through. And it is because of the level of sacrifice. And in those days, it was not just what we do for our own children, it is what we did for the entire neighborhood. We are now talking to a lot of centenarians, and I will bring to mind for one of our second youngest centenarians, a lady in Portsmouth called Marmotti. All right, and she up to today, one of the persons she just became 100 sometime this year, and one of the ladies who was there for her on the day of her birthday was telling us that she remembered when one day she was walking through to go to school, she fell, broke her nose or her head. Marmotti took her in and cleaned her, gave her a new dress, washed her, fed her, and sent her back to school. You understand? So this is the type of community element that reigned in us. And therefore, these are what the old persons gave to the younger persons. You didn't have to know somebody's mother to give them help. If you saw a child needed help, you gave help because you are a mother. You gave help because you are a parent. These are some of the things that our older persons exhibited that today they deserve all what we have to give them. I'll stop there.
No, I like this. I like this in terms of not just showing that because I'm old that I need to have the respect, but it's more than just because I'm old. It's also because of the foundation that I've laid and what I have done and what we as a collective older persons have done to ensure that we have what you have today. So it's almost like it's the whole African legacy. And we're not going to go into that, but it's also that in terms of how we treat our elders. In terms of the Council of the Aging, though, is there a particular age that you have to be part of the Council of the Aging? Can a young person be part of the council?
Once you are 18 years, you are entitled to be a member of the Dominica Council on Aging. So you can be a member from 18 until you die. And if you die, your memory still remains as a member.
Do you I love that. Do you have younger people being part of what you're doing, part of the activities or contributing or anything like that?
Yes, I don't know who you want to answer.
Anyone. You are. Oh, sorry, Ophelia. I shouldn't say you. I mean, Ophelia. Yes.
Nigel Francis. By the way, what shirt you have on your dinner?
I don't know that.
A DBS man.
A DBS shirt, yes.
Hey.
Yeah, DBS shirt.
Okay, Nigel.
I did
not get the memo.
Yes, I don't have nice clothes. I don't have nice clothes like you.
Okay, Ophelia.
You didn't put anything in. You didn't put anything in the group for me. You go on vacation. You don't send nothing in the group.
You see, I have.
Okay, all right. So sorry, Ophelia. You know how we just do already. But yes,
I know. What you don't do. Yes. Okay, you were talking about young people. We had a youth arm, which was in a way short-lived. However, young people stay close to us. Okay. There are groups that deliberately do things with younger persons. I know, for example, in Grand Bay, they go by the river and they show the young people how to light fire on 3 stones. And they do that kind of thing. And the younger persons help them with their computer work.
Nice.
And bridging the gap.
Yes, bridging the gap and doing things together. The Vibrant Senior Citizens is another group that works with younger persons. And they are members of the council. For example, they held a dance on the 2nd of September. And there were younger persons as well as older persons there. I know a lady who is 91, that is Solo's mother, Geeta, was at the dance, but there were also younger persons, 2 young persons from Coptor came by me to purchase tickets. And we were all in the dance. We didn't have to bend down funny to dance because the music was oldie goldies. Wadix and Mr. Mix really gave us good music. And we were working, we were dancing together. So we know we can do it. When we have, there is an activity that is going to begin at 11 o'clock today. It's a paints, seniors paints session. It's like a sip and paint,
Okay.
We want it to be Minnesota, whatever that big drink is. But we need
Mimosa.
You see, Nigel knows. We wanted to do mimosa and paint, but we'll do that when somebody gives us some support, enough support to be able to do the vary. And that name, by the way, came from younger persons working with us, so. And they keep telling us, we must modernize, we don't always have to have dinner, we can have a brunch, so they suggest, and when we go to visit the centenarians, there are younger persons who come with us. And sometimes I have to tell them, well, get up, let me sit, because they want to be next to the senior citizens. So there are people who are very interested, and many are saying that it is older persons who raised them. And our Month of the Elderly activities give them an opportunity to speak about the older persons in their lives. Because we have to do that. We are a continuum, aren't we? And they have to show us, they have to give us the kind of, the things we deserve, and to also give them an opportunity to express themselves. That's the only way this can really work.
Wow. I want to go back though to a question I asked earlier. I wanted to look at the challenges, like some of the challenges, because I really wanted to bring this to light. I think this should be a very important part of the discussion. So I was looking at some of the challenges like poverty, like mistreatment, like ageism, these barriers that affects young people. How concerned are you, about the challenges that older people face at this time?
Mr. Lawrence.
Yes, okay, I'm gonna go. There are challenges, and there are challenges, and there are abuses, and there are violations. So you see my categorizing of the 3 things. So as far as challenges, when you get old, you are slow. But I always say, not because you are slow, that you have to go. And I always tell them, old wine pours slower. Okay, so that's how we sell.
So the grapes, boy.
Right. Good. But added to that, not because there are challenges, and challenges as to the public facilities that are available to older persons. You know, there are challenges. Do you know our older persons cannot walk the streets of Rose? They cannot do that because they have to walk on the main road. And why? It's because the challenge they have is to be able to stabilize themselves on the narrow sidewalk and on the other challenges. We have visions not being made for an older person to climb a proper step. All right. Some facilities have straight steps, no landing where somebody can walk or can stand up to take a break, or not even a railing to hold on to. These are challenges that older persons have. We have, and there are lots of other challenges, but I don't want to bring up too many of the challenges to make it look as if I am targeting a particular sector. There are challenges, and as well there are abuses. There are abuses, and there are people who abuse and violate a lot of older persons. The abuses happen as to you take advantage. I'd heard you all had said, use a word earlier on, lavabo. You want to take the old people like a lavabo. You understand? That you can use them as a doormat. You understand? So these are abuses, and the abuse takes many different forms, and the violations are close to the abuses. A lot of our people are violated and abused financially. All right. People take their money. People abuse their money. People take their credit cards. People take their credit cards and they shop on it. People take their credit card pins and then they go and use it, you know, and all these things. These are abuses. There is also the psychological thing. The psychological abuses that have you ever been in a bus? And a public bus? I don't know, maybe you all do not do that, but I do that periodically. You go into a public bus and you see an older person walks into a bus, and the older person has to cower because the older person is scared of somebody telling him "Sapako passes la" or this type of things. You know, this is an abuse. This is a violation of that person's right to be as free to sit wherever they want in a bus. So these are things we need to start to look at and to start to tell people that we need to educate the public on these things, educate the public, educate the respective operators. There are others. So there are abuses, there are challenges that we can just go on and tell you. There's also the abuse of people, of older persons from their own immediate family. Their own immediate family abuse them. There are young boys who abuse 80-year-old women. And they are not strangers to these people. They are the great-grand aunt or the great-grand cousin or these types of things. So there's a lot of these things that takes place that amongst our older persons. And the same happened with the men, you know. And so these things happen, and then these are things we want to have another program to come back and talk strictly abuses, violations, and challenges. But yes, we have a lot of these things. I'll let Ophelia add a few more.
Yes, and the big one that is in my face is that I'm becoming ashamed to say I'm a Dominican musician, because our music has to be very, 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 very loud, and it has to be very, 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 very lewd. And I am so disappointed in the kind of music we are forcing older persons to listen to. And we say that is what we are known for. Excuse me, that is another topic.
And that is one, Ophelia, that I have always said that we need to have a courageous conversation about.
Yes.
In terms of where our music is going and what we want our music to represent, and what we want when we say Dominica's music, whether we are very comfortable with what's happening. And that's a courageous conversation we have to have. At some point, we have to have it because we can't continue down that road. But we will have that conversation for sure.
Yes, one day. I sincerely hope, and I sincerely hope that the people who can influence persons to really curb their, I cannot even find the words, but their language, let's say language, you know, that they will talk. They will talk. But I have spoken, I have said, I don't want people to know me as a Dominican musician again.
And we don't ever want that to happen.
Bad. It has got, wow, it has
as bad as that.
We don't ever want that to happen because you represent what we have. So we don't ever want that to reach that point. And we
Nigel, I think we have to set up. We haven't set up a discussion.
We will connect.
We have to look at this.
Yes, we will connect that dots between our musicians and what we want to promote. Popularity doesn't mean it's right. We will connect that dots. By the way, Val Morilla wants to tell us about the situation, and I want to just read it very quickly. He says, in terms of abuse, the saddest one I experienced was a landlord finding a way to put out the tenants as soon as they reach the age of 60. I found out that most landlords do not want to have tenants who are age 60 and older because they feel that they may not be able to pay the rent. This is sad because many of us would like to remain independent for as long as possible. So another bit of the abuse there, Nigel, in terms of housing and accommodation, and because you're old, people don't want to give you they don't want to have certain opportunities for you because you've reached a certain age.
That is very sad, and that is where we need to talk about that. To hear that there must be legislation. There must be legislation to protect the rights of older persons. 75 years ago, just 75 years ago, the Declaration of Human Rights came into place, and that human rights focused on older persons, the rights of older persons, and it was talking about it's a universal declaration, and we are party as a nation. We are party to this convention, and we need laws to protect. We need to start to advocate from now. That there must be laws to protect older persons. You know how many of our older persons are in the same position you spoke about there, about the 60-year-old, but it just does not come out. A lot of these people cannot live as they want. They cannot live where they want because they are refused. There is discrimination against older persons. And brothers and sisters, we need to be able to take this thing at heart. We have to be emotional at it because tomorrow it can be any one of us. You understand? Something can happen to us today. With all the media we have, we can turn bankrupt. And all we can do is to be able to get a pauper's allowance just to be able to cover our heads. And what's going to happen to us if we do not make sure that there must be appropriate laws to protect us? We have not seen laws in place to start saying it is a law targeting older persons. The issue of, another issue at Ophelia, I thought you would have taken it further, is the decibel level of noise. All right? Can you believe what it is for an old person to be sitting in their homes trying to sleep at 10, 6, 5, whatever time they want to sleep, and you're hearing somebody's songs reverberating, shaking the person's little 2x4, all right, and saying "su, I don't know what it means," and you are hearing that into these people's heads, and they have no recourse. You know why? Because the laws of Dominica have not found it necessary to be changed to say that nonsense about decibel levels. When no police officer has a decibel level meter, that you cannot stop somebody from playing loud music to disturb a neighborhood because you can't measure what the law says, the decibel levels. We need to start to advocate on these things. And the Council on Aging is an organization that is an advocacy group. We are there to advocate not on everything, but on most things that affect older persons. And I want to tell the young people and all of us that aging is inevitable. You must age. You know, Nigel and Ivona, since we began talking there, we have aged, We have aged.
That's true. That is true.
You age. So it is inevitable. We are going to age and we have to prepare. And brothers and sisters, it's not just for now. We have to prepare ourselves. And the good thing, we live longer now. We are living, a lot of people are dying early. They're not dying, but many more people are living younger. And there are many 80-year-olds and 85-year-olds who still want to take a little walk, but cannot go to the park because they have been discriminated against, because they have been disenfranchised, you know. So we need to be able to push this envelope, push this agenda of abuse, of discrimination, of disregard, and we need to do it making sure that there is a certain level of education. We will soon be asking to put on the skills curriculum what it is to grow old and to respect age, because it starts from early. The problem we have now of people disrespecting older persons, it is because they have no legacy. They have nobody to carry it down to them. You know, persons of our age, persons who were born in the 50s, we were the radicals, you know, and we are to be the cause of the downfall of society today. No, we are the cause of it, because we were the ones who tried to say we were thriving in the post-colonial days, and we wanted to do our own thing. But in doing our own thing, we have disregarded the values that our older parents had, and we need to take heed of this thing. I yield to Ophelia.
But I have to continue that discussion with you. Are you shocked me? Because I was born in the 50s, and where it was the era of black power and jeans and bell-bottom pants.
Bell-bottom and afros.
And what?
And the big afro.
Yes, the big afro, you know, and that kind of thing. But I almost don't want to say that I contributed to that. You're telling me that we live in on a certain level of karma. That's interesting. We have to talk about that, Mr. Lord. But what is true is that whatever we did then definitely had an effect on what followed, you know. And well, we have to watch what we're doing. And the people who are telling little girls what, oh Jesus, I'm sorry, but I have to come back to the you know, to the bad words, and you telling those children are going to listen to you, and they will begin to do what you are singing about, what you're talking about. Is that what we want? And some of us have children. Some of us have little children. Some of us have babies. We have 5-year-olds. What are we teaching them? I remember Rasmo telling me once, because Rasmo is a Rasta, and he heard, and he may have partaken in smoking marijuana. May have, I wasn't there. But if he saw his little boy take a paper and a leaf and roll, he said, whoa, I have to be careful what I do around my children. And I would really like every person who is on a stage, even a stage under a tree or what have you, to think about the things they are saying and doing, and let them know that it will affect not just my child or my great-grandchild, but their children. Maybe if they think that some things could be better. I mean, Nigel was really calm, Nigel Lawrence, that is, on the things he said about abuse, because we can continue, we can tell you
sexual abuse as well.
There is sexual abuse. He kind of alluded to it without saying it, but people are sexually abusing those older persons. And there is one, we have had to follow an older man in court because his activity, his court case was postponed 9 times.
Wow.
Up to now, it hasn't been called. Why? And what is the problem? A younger person who had access, let me say it so, to one of his credit cards, used that card for the older man and apparently also for himself. And he is getting the older man in court for the older man to prove that everything he has in his house is his.
Wow.
Wow. This is
And up to
Wow,
now,
Nigel.
we cannot have his day in court because sometimes the court case is in Laughlin, sometimes it's in Portsmouth, and sometimes it's in Roseau. And the older man was told by the younger man, that is if you don't die before that case finish court.
Yeah,
Wow.
this was his memory or something.
Yeah.
You know,
This is really sad. Nigel, by the way, Nigel Francis, I think Gloria Murillo sent another message. He has a question for Nigel Lawrence. So Nigel, I guess you can check it on the book.
Yes.
Very interesting discussion. And as I look for it, though, let me just ask.
That is sad what's happening.
Yeah.
And it's good that the Council of Aging can be there in a sense, can be the representative body. In a sense, for those older persons. Two quick questions. Of course, Vo wanted to find out from Nigel and from Ophelia whether there's certain businesses in Dominica that like offers discounts to older persons, or whether like medicals at the hospital and other things, whether there are any of those institutions that offer those discounts to older persons.
Well, yes, and I think they even deserve to be called, to be spoken about. Jolly's Pharmacy, LA Jupini, ESA Trading, those three for sure come to mind. I know there are others, and I feel bad that I don't have a list, but those three do things for older persons. ESA Trading, for example, gives a hamper of well-needed goods to every person who becomes 100, and for every birthday after that, and at Christmas time. So those 3 times, those people can expect to get something from ESA Trading.
Okay.
But should there be more, Ophelia? Should there be more? Should like, for example, if you're going on the bus, should you have does the Council of Aging have plans to have like a card, this card business, identification card, here we go again. Something that says you are this, and as such you get a discount when you go on the bus, or when you go pay your bill, you get those kinds of things. Should there be more of that?
There has been talk about that, and yes, I agree that there should be more. There should be more. There should be more. I don't want to go into the financial aspect of the council, except to say we don't have money.
How are you funded? How is the Council of Aging funded? Okay. Either Nigel or yourself.
Mr. Lawrence is smiling, but I think he'll have to take that question.
Yeah, how is the Council of Aging funded?
Normally, okay, go on, Mr. Lawrence.
Go ahead, Ophelia. I'll follow. Go ahead.
Okay, normally we are offered, we have to say thank you very much to government.
We get a subvention.
Yes, we get a subvention of $15,000 for the year for operational costs. We also have 3 persons who work in the office for whom we're supposed to get a subvention to pay them. Okay. And then we also get the rent of our office fee. And we are really very, very, very grateful for that. Unfortunately, sometimes we cannot collect because it's not ready yet. And we are in that situation where we try also to raise our funds, but even that is limited. But we are continuing to do that with a view to doing what we can do, because even within our ambit, there's a certain level of advocacy, a lot of advocacy and networking we can do, but on account of the lack of funding, there's a limit. There is only so much that we can do. So if somebody can give us, for example, we have 1 field officer, I would think we need maybe at least 5. So if somebody can pay for one for us, tell us. If maybe we get support from somebody who sells a passport, give us 1 passport. Money for 1 passport, we might be able to do more. We continue to raise funds, and I want to talk about the radiothon that we want to do during the month of the elderly. I don't know if now is the time to do it, but
we don't have much time, but go ahead, Ophelia. Give us the date and time and everything.
Okay, now we had been hoping to do it on the 13th, which is Wednesday coming. However, on Tuesday there is Parliament, and we don't know how long that is going to be. So we have to. It looks like we have to postpone it. We are looking at the other Wednesday, which is going to be the 20th, or maybe even the 27th. But we have to wait on it's on DBS we're going to be doing it, so we have to wait on the authorities for confirmation.
Okay.
So we're looking at that, but I would like for people to already put it in their minds and put a $20 or 200,000 or a 20,000, maybe Bo can give us that, so that we can do.
Yeah, that Bo.
Well, Bo is my friend, so I can say that. So and Mr. Thomas too. I'm glad you're here, Terry. I know that Terry, you will talk about that for us.
Spread the word. Spread the word.
Yes, because we need everything anybody can give us. There's a gentleman who agreed to give us $50 a month, just like that. It's coming every month. We need a few more to do that. And if people cannot make big contributions, if they can make smaller ones, because there is a lot of those people who are abusing older persons. We need to find a way to reach their hearts to tell them, stop. And if there's somebody who can fix the sidewalks, and if the younger children can learn not to give elbows to the older persons when they pass in, that will go along. And if bus drivers, there are some of them who would take the person 5 minutes up the hill for $5 or for no money, we thank them. If they can be the persons who show the example so that others can give those older persons a break. We need to tell those people karma is something that comes back. If you give that older person a break, you will get a break in the future when you are an older person.
Well, Nigel, I mean, we started the program, we started talking about death and dying and all of that, and look at where we are now. We don't even have much time to talk about the successes, the achievements, and all of that. But even before we wrap up, though, I want to find out what does the data show on the centenarian population in Dominica in terms of the numbers? Do you have this?
Yes. Currently, we have 13 centenarians alive. Okay, currently we have 13 alive.
Currently, COVID would have taken a lot of them.
COVID, a lot of them died of COVID and COVID-related illness. Yeah, I mean, a few years, about 5 years ago, we had about 32 persons as centenarians. The good thing with our centenarians is that most of our centenarians do not suffer. Those that are alive do not suffer from hypertension or diabetes or these types of things. That's one of the good things. That tells you the quality of life they lived before. So that is a positive for Dominica. So the amount of young people you have with diabetes, with hypertension and these things, these are not prevalent in these centenarians. But our population had gone down as low as 10. But we just missed Mistress Joctrove, we just missed other persons who were dying at 99 and 98. But we expect the numbers are going to increase because we have a lot of others that are knocking at the door. But I would like to add also that when we have our radio funds and our fundraisers, we try everything. We try barbecues, we try everything possible. In fact, right now we have an event that is taking place at Old Mill, the Mimosa and Paint. All right, it was supposed to be a fundraiser, but we will not make it a fundraiser. We are getting assistance from the National Bank of Dominica to host that event. So we are trying to hold that just to entertain all the persons. So if you are in the area and you want to come and learn how to paint and how to do something, come to the Old Mill this afternoon. We will welcome you. And for our radio fund, and I want to tell you, for our radio fund, most of the money is we will collect from the radio fund. They're not going to go to our operations. I want to be able to convince our my board that one of the persons there, there's a 96-year-old lady who's living in a house that was blown down after the hurricane in Foncoulé, and we want to try to put some shelter to that lady. And we have a centenarian from Wesley who's living in a banana shed since he became a centenarian. So these are things that are very, very great, and we want to bring out to tell people. So when you hear we're going to have our radio fund, give us something that will be able
But you know, Nigel,
by the way, Nigel, let me just say quickly if I forget. So I'm just getting a WhatsApp message from William Murillo. Wow. And he's saying that before you close, let them give us contact numbers of bank accounts so we can make our donations. I would be grateful if we could make donations electronically from overseas by PayPal, etc.
Yes, so Alvin Thomas is also saying that we need the account number. So if you guys have the account number, your bank account number, or also your contact number so they can contact you. Of course, if you don't have it, they can always contact you through us.
I hope you have it so you can put it on the book as well.
Yes. Okay, but very quickly, I'm Nigel. What I wanted to say in terms of you mentioning there's an older person in Wesley living in a barn or shed still. That's concerning to me, and I'll tell you why very quickly. If we go back to our conversation where the community raised the child, this is a situation where the community needs to raise that older person. And I cannot see for the likes of me why an entire community in Wesley would have an older person living in a barn or shed. The entire community, if they were to get together, that could be rectified in 1 week. That's just my take, very quick. So it's it's the reverse. In terms of the community,
it doesn't even have to take the entire community.
No, the community needs to raise the older person. This person has contributed to your society, Wesley and Foncoulé, get on board. And the musicians who are doing otherwise, get on board. So that was just my take very quickly. But as we said, they want the contact numbers. I don't know if you have the bank account number that you want to publicly give because people want to contribute. Someone was also asking whether there's a subscription fee that your members pay. Someone also wants to know how they can contribute regularly and how those who are living outside of Dominica, the diaspora, as we say, how they can contribute. So that's an opportunity. I don't know what you guys want to do with it.
Well, let me start with my number, 767-615-4300.
All right, so
that's one.
So Alvin and those who got this, yes, go ahead. Oops.
767-615-4300.
767-615-4300.
And the council office is 767-448-3050.
767-448-3050, 3050.
Yes.
Yeah. And my number is 315-4009. Now, as 315-4009. With regards to the account number, we just got a more banking number, but we are still waiting for the PIN. They were supposed to deliver it to us this week because we wanted it so that we could use it to advertise. So we will push it to you, and probably at your next airing of your program, we would like you to give the people.
Give it to us and we will say
definitely.
And the subscription to be a member is $50 a year, just a $50 a year. And we accept donations. We accept anybody.
Yes, that's like $5 a month. All right, less than that.
Yeah, and if you want to be a patron, a special patron is somebody who is dedicated to raising funds to assist us. If you want to be a special patron, just call us and we will do the necessary things and give you the accolades and the necessary certification to allow you to do that on our behalf. So we thank everybody for that. Everybody was interested in that. But we will send all the information to you for your next program so you can advertise it. Thank you.
Okay, beautiful. We'll definitely connect and do that, But as we come towards the end though, of this particular one, I know that this month you have your activities, but it's not just for the month. We want it to continue where we sensitize people and we educate people. So very quickly, what about schools and colleges and so on? Do you guys go out there and let them know what's happening at the Council of Aging and how they can get involved?
Yes, we do. We have a back to school aspect to our program, where in communities, the older persons go to the schools and talk about what they did in those schools, how they were in the schools, and how things are different. So we do some of that. Not as much as we'd like to, but we do that. And then there's also Grandparents' Day, which is on the
tomorrow.
Yes.
On the 10th, tomorrow.
That's tomorrow, yes. And at that time, we highlight the contributions of older persons in churches. And we'll give them rosettes or little baskets, little gifts, or what have you. So in that way, they are aware of the older persons. A lot of communities give special honor to a particular older person for the day, for the week, for the month. So some of that is happening. But, and we also have our radio program. We are coming back to it. It is called Seniors on the Move. We had the first session, or the first one for the second session last Monday, and this Monday is the second session. So in the month of September, we will have 4 of those programs, which will, tell people, give answers to all of what people are asking there. And we want to remain available to you for I'm saying we, but I am the immediate past president. So Mr. Lawrence will do the rest.
Yeah, very, very good. By the way, quickly, Nigel, Gloria Murillo, my former teacher, is saying that this is an amazing program. Please keep it up. So thank you, sir. We'll do our best. Yes, Nigel, Lawrence, as well.
Yes. I would like to thank you very much for this opportunity. This is I have connected the dots. I'm now become an artist.
You better say bien branché every Saturday.
Yes.
Well, that is true. I will remain bien branché from now on.
Yeah.
I'm on. Okay, so thank you very much for your effort, and thank you very much for giving us this platform. And it's not just us or me, but it is all generations to come, including yourself. And we are going to welcome you and usher you into our realm of aged persons. Thank you very much.
I can feel it in my bones already, I tell you. Man! Why? Anyway.
Of course, Nigel,
of course. But yeah, Nigel, the time has come and the time has gone.
Yes, but that's always a pleasure.
We still have to look at. But we can always explore these issues on another program. Maybe have other guests as well. And let's see how we can do more to bring back that, that level of respect, that appreciation for all the people. Let us recognize that they laid the foundation, We are enjoying a lot of what we are enjoying now because of the older people. By the way, a lot of them are on Facebook as well, Nigel. I'm very happy about that. We just talk about the involvement in technology, so all of them can do their thing now, TikTok and all of that. But Nigel, wonderful program. I really enjoyed today's program again. And let me thank you, Nigel, Lawrence, and Ophelia for this, sharing with us. We wish you all the best as you continue that journey, to bind together the gems of society. Wonderful job that you're doing. The golden years, I look forward myself, Nigel. As I said, I'm already feeling it. So Nigel, we'll talk again next week.
We're ready to welcome you to the club. But yes, we'll connect again, my dear.
Of course, we can be vendors.
As someone who, whose mom was there until 99, so, greater appreciation for the older persons as well. So, beautiful to connect again. We'll do that again next week again. Ophelia, Nigel, pleasure. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep journey. Continued blessings.
Yeah. See you next week, Nigel.
We connect again, my dear.
All right. You take care. That's it.
Take care.
Join us next week Saturday for another program.